On Friday, Johnson & Johnson released the Phase 3 global trial results of their one-shot COVID-19 vaccine. And with that came a lot of questions. Results show the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 66% effective globally and 85% effective against severe diseases. The data is based on 44,000 global participants over the age of 18. And one major difference compared to the other two vaccines is that it's only one dose, which Michigan State University medical professor Peter Gulick says is a positive thing.
And by giving one dose, it can be distributed in a much larger volume of people to get immunized.
Johnson & Johnson's global research chief says no one in this trial who got the vaccine was hospitalized or died from the virus.
We have 100% protection, complete protection against hospitalization and death. Those that contracted cases of COVID after 28 days of being vaccinated, all of the hospitalizations, all of the deaths occurred on placebo. None occurred on those that received a vaccine.
Not only is it different because it's one dose, but it also doesn't have to be stored in a freezer like the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines.
The Johnson & Johnson is more, like a refrigerator, and it can last for several months. Again, another advantage as far as keeping it or distributing it more to areas where they may not have the freezing techniques that are necessary for especially the Pfizer vaccine.
And it uses a different approach than the others that use RNA, a genetic messenger technology.
The Johnson & Johnson, they use a similar type of a technique, except they use an adenovirus. Adenovirus is just a virus that causes, respiratory symptoms and things in humans. But they use the adenovirus they use has been damaged enough that it can't replicate.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the president thinks the data is encouraging.
The president is encouraged by positive data on a potential new vaccine. He also knows that this is just new data, and now is the time for the FDA to do its job of evaluating the safety and efficacy of the vaccine.
As for protecting against the new strains of COVID, Gulick says so far it's only been tested internationally.
And they found about a 58% response rate even in these variants. And you may say, well, my goodness, that's very, very low. But nobody's done any other studies with the other vaccines yet to look at what percent of response the other vaccines may have.
But there are still a lot of questions even medical experts like Gulick don't have the answers to yet.
But these are all ever-changing type information. So what I tell you today may be totally different tomorrow.
He thinks there could be a promise with this vaccine.
And this Johnson & Johnson may have a definite advantage internationally given the one dose and the fact that it doesn't have to be stored in these real low temperatures.
Johnson & Johnson says it plans to file for emergency use authorization from the FDA by early February. The U.S. federal government is already contracted to purchase 100 million doses. Reporting for Fox 47 News, I'm Michaela Temple.